Now, the Arizona Cardinals released DeAndre Hopkins, and they released him after being unable to find a trade partner. Why couldn't they find one? Well, because D-Hop is going to pay a lot of money still. On his contract in 2023, which was this season, he was going to get paid $30 million. Next year, it was $25 million. It was going to be a $20 million cap hit regardless. And given the suspension, his injury history, and he's missed 14 games in the last 2 seasons. 6 of them haven't because of suspension, but nonetheless, he hasn't been on the field as much as you'd like him to be. I understand why no team would trade for him, but I think we all know the team he's going to.
I think we all do.
I think there's a few teams.
Denver Broncos?
It wasn't on my list.
No?
I have 3 teams.
I thought that's what we all were thinking.
So let's just go round table because it seems like we all might have the same team we're going to pick from, or at least we all have a team that
a handful
stands out in our head.
That stands out.
So round table, where's DeAndre Hopkins going to?
Outside of Denver. Realistically, I think
I would have said Baltimore.
I think because he went on the I'm an Athlete podcast and was saying like he wants to be on a team that has a great quarterback. The specifics was Hurts.
Allen was one.
Hurts, Allen, Lamar.
Yeah, it was Mahomes, Lamar, Allen, Hurts, Herbert. Those are the 5.
Also asked for a top defense in the league. That's why I think the Jets are in this conversation. I think the Bills are in this conversation. KC's in it because of Mahomes.
KC got a great young defense. They got a great young defense.
Baltimore's in it for sure.
That Philly torched. I'm sorry.
It's basically all the AFC.
What did the Bengals do against them?
The Chargers? They have a top defense.
But yeah, they lost 3 offensive linemen, bro. Come
I think
on.
he mentioned
Be
Herbert.
fair.
Of course he did.
Use context.
Chris Jones is one of the best defensive players in the game.
Of course he's going to eat
slept.
it. Of course
you
he's
slept.
I did not sleep.
You slept.
I did not sleep.
You slept. Nick Bolton is that guy. L'Jarius Sneed is that guy.
Dude got his
Stop
numbers
playing.
padded.
The Ravens is interesting. Here's why I don't think it's going to happen. You paid OBJ.
You did.
You drafted Zay Flowers in the first round. You have Mark Andrews, and you still have Rashad Bateman. I'd be shocked if he goes to Baltimore.
I would be shocked as
I'd
well.
be shocked.
But maybe if they go all out, you got Todd Monken there. You want to turn into a pass-heavy offense. They said they're going to scale back the rush attempts for Lamar. Hopkins going to come in as great as, Odell was the last time we saw him on the field. Hopkins goes in. He's the number 1 wide receiver now. Do you want to pay 2 aging wide receivers top dollar? But I also think there's a strong chance Hopkins takes a small deal compared to what we're expecting him to get on a 1-year deal. And then after this season, once you go into the offseason and more teams have cap space, there could be a bidding war potentially. Next offseason, he goes and gets a bag.
Okay, so I'm looking at the Bills. Of course, that's a team that definitely could be.
That seems number 1 to me. Bills are the favorite to me.
Especially with Josh Allen, you playing next to Stephon Diggs. The defense, obviously, where it has been statistically one of the best defenses come playoff time. It just doesn't seem to play at that level that we've seen in the regular season. But I do believe that I have Buffalo at the top of my list. Number 2, I know you guys will not have this on your list, the New York Giants, because they desperately need a wide receiver, and I feel like they will allocate the money to get him, even though that's hard for them to do. They understand that we need a game-changing wide receiver to help this weapons core as a whole. DeAndre Hopkins fills that void. And then also it might intrigue Saquon Barkley to also want to come and rejoin the Giants long-term, because right now they're having contract disputes. He doesn't want to play on a franchise tag, and that's understandable. If I'm a player, I don't want to play on a franchise tag. I want long-term security. And so that also might intrigue Saquon to want to come back because, hey, I got D-Hop now. We might have a squad that we can actually do something with, understanding that they still probably wouldn't be the favorites.
7 road games to start the year.
No doubt. Tough teams
so let me
overcome
get this straight.
tough issues.
No, I'm with you.
So let me get this straight.
Wait for this.
And then, of course,
Giants,
Kansas City.
Yeah.
Giants signing D-Hop.
This is his top
Now,
3.
minimizing their cap flexibility is going to intrigue Saquon to come back, who wants the most possible money possible.
The thing that's been confusing me about this Saquon Barkley situation is that he said, I don't want to change the running back market.
He just wants to get paid $14 million, which is a lot of money for a running back.
I agree with you, but my point being is,
That'd be second highest.
he said, I don't want to change the running back market. I don't want to be the highest paid running back. But then they go and they offer him whatever amount of money. I think it was $12 million a year. I could be wrong. You let me know if you guys want to look it up. I can look it up after I'm done talking. Then he declines it. A 3-year something contract. He declines
It's probably
it.
the guaranteed money.
Which is, I understand that also. So now they're in this contract dispute. Then he won't play on a franchise tag. Again, I don't blame him. But now they're trying to bring in pieces to win football games. If I'm Saquon, the idea of coming back is more enticing.
This is cool.
Yeah, the Giants.
And then, of course, yes, it's got to be Casey.
It makes sense for the Giants. Need a receiver desperately. But if you're going off what D-Hop is telling us, I don't know if
with
going with Daniel Jones.
Just say you don't know a thing about Daniel.
And going into it and having to compete with Philly in that division. I don't know if Dallas.
Dallas is another one too that he could definitely go to.
I was saying the competition.
There's no competition.
I think D-Hop is going to KC. I think out
like
of
it's
all
foregone,
the teams
gone.
we've
Like
mentioned,
that's it. You're done.
I think he's going to KC.
But why do they need D-Hop?
I don't think they need D-Hop, but they didn't re-sign Juju Smith-Schuster. They have the depth chart right now is MVS, Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore. They've had some players.
We're talking about Kadarius Toney being the wide receiver 1. I mean,
they've had some players in OTA step up, like Justin Ross, John Ross. But look at who I'm talking about right here.
Justin Ross.
But again, MVS, he turned into prime Reggie Wayne in the playoffs. Kadarius Toney scored a touchdown. Of course, you have Travis Kelce, who's just going to be Travis Kelce. You don't. It doesn't matter who Mahomes has. Unfortunately, they're going to eat.
It doesn't matter who he has, but always they don't need to add more.
That's just too much on their payroll, if you ask me too.
Bro's doing everything to make sure that doesn't happen.
D-Hop wants a great quarterback. Well, Mahomes is the best. He wants a great defense.
Anywhere but fucking KC.
Stop sleeping on his Chiefs' young defense.
They
were young last year. They were still an average unit. Yes, they were young last year. They were still an average unit. They're going to be a great defense this year. Steve Spagnuolo is one of the brightest defensive minds in the league.
Maybe a top 5 defense?
They'll be top 10.
Top 10.
Top 10 for sure.
We'll see.
They'll be a top 10 or top 15 for sure.
We'll see how OTAs and training camp goes.
But nonetheless, their defense steps up when it matters. They stepped up against Jacksonville. They stepped up against Cincinnati.
Against Jacksonville, that was more that Jamal Agnew kind of just lost the ball and fumbled.
I got a sleeper.
Oh, yeah?
You got a sleeper?
Against the Bengals?
Who's your sleeper?
They had a great performance. They took advantage of an injured offensive line, but their
secondary played amazing too.
Great teams capitalized.
Their secondary played amazing.
But it really started at the line.
No space.
It started at the line. Against the Eagles, I cannot be fucking convinced.
Against the Eagles, they stopped the run.
Jalen Hurts
had fucking one of the best performances you'll see in the loss. Yeah.
What are we doing?
No doubt. But the running backs combined only averaged 3 yards per carry.
They were always frauds.
I mean, you could say that, but no team in the season was able to stop them.
They got DeAndre Swift now.
They don't worry about that.
You're right. All he's gonna do is run sideways and get tackled for a loss.
Screaming at the run sideways.
Don't make me bring up BPA.
Listen, all I know
I'm about to put you in a coffin
is that
right
the
there.
Chiefs are getting Hopkins. If I had to pick a second team, I'm going with the Bills. I think it's between two teams, the Chiefs and the Bills. It's one of those.
Chargers aren't in
consideration.
The Jets are in the conversation. Okay. There's that tweet from Sauce from last month saying me and D-Hop just had a great conversation. You got Rodgers there, the defense.
It might be. I have to see it to believe it.
Denver doesn't even pop into your mind. We have one of the best defenses in the league.
He said he wants to play. He said he wants to play with a great quarterback.
Russell Wilson will be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, down the road.
People were saying that about Aaron Rodgers at one point in time. He came back and won back-to-back MVPs.
Listen, I don't want to.
Yeah, down year for Rodgers, 26 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Down year for Russell Wilson was.
It was bad. It was
really dog shit.
We also had one of the worst head coaches in the National Football League.
He designed some open plays.
Because you just said he wants to play with a quarterback.
And
now we got a top 4, top 5 head coach in the game.
The Chiefs are a better situation.
Respect us.
The Bills are a better situation, and the Ravens are a better situation.
Sleeper? It's all debatable.
I had the Chiefs. Everything you said. I had the Bills.
Can be my sleeper.
The Bills. They need a number 2. Like this is what they've been missing for their offense to fully be unlocked. And what he might be a number 1. I don't know. He could be a number 1, number 2. I think this would be the one. But I really like the Ravens fit. I know. They got Odell, but he's injury concerns. Bateman is also injury concerns. You still need a dominant number 1 when he plays, and I don't think none of those guys is that. Zay Flowers is good, but he's a rookie. I think D-Hop goes there. Huh?
He's gonna go crazy.
I'm not disagreeing, but I think D-Hop is a different type of animal. When you bring him there with Lamar, he won MVP with I don't even remember who the receivers was.
Hollywood
it was Hollywood.
Mark Andrews.
Will Fuller,
Willie Snead.
Willie Snead and shit. Like, come on, let's be serious. I think D-Hop. I think he should really look at Baltimore.
I know you have 2 teams.
And elite defense. That's the best defense out of the groups we just. Yeah, that's the best defense out of the groups we just.
It seems like most people love the Dallas.
I was gonna say
Dallas fit.
There's 5 teams that I could honestly see him going to. It's the Bills. It's KC. The Giants, honestly, the Cowboys, and then that 15.
Do you think the Giants have a better chance than the Jets?
Chargers have a good chance to bring him in because they need wide receiver help.
The Giants over the Ravens? The Ravens have an actual
that wasn't
elite
in order.
defense.
That wasn't in order, but yes, I would say they do because again, they've already they allocated draft capital, first round draft capital to bring in a wide receiver. They signed Odell for $16 million a year, or was it $20 million? I think it was 16.
Yeah.
16. Oh, that would have been funny if it's in the middle of that. And then Rashad Bateman's now coming back.
Always injured. D-Hop said he wants to play with Lamar Jackson. D-Hop says he wants to play with an elite defense. The Ravens have both of those.
Listen, I'm
Giants
not.
have
I'm not
neither.
disagreeing. Respect Daniel Jones.
He's not Lamar.
He's not elite.
He's not Lamar.
Yeah, he's not elite. I'm sorry.
The
He's
reasoning for the Ravens is a similar reason I have for the Chargers.
What the fuck are we doing?
Quinn Johnson was a first-round pick. You're paying Mike Williams $20 million, and Keenan Allen's still on the books.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think
They
D-Hop
were considering cutting Keenan Allen.
That was their salary more than anything, trying to get under the cap.
I think that's over with now. After OTAs has started,
he's on the team. He's on the team.
He's going to be on the team.
I get where you're coming from, though.
I think no doubt.
But I think I'd also would rather play with Herbert.
I've seen some people say Chicago.
Is that rude?
I mean, even though they did all that, you did say, the more the merrier. So
what do you guys think about a potential Detroit Lions?
You know what's actually crazy? That did pop into my mind. But again, that defense is not solidified yet.
He's not going to the NFC.
And then also Goff, if I'm D-Hop, it's not the most intriguing option. Although Goff by no means is bad. I don't know.
He's going somewhere where he basically knows the floor is the playoffs. The floor is first
the floor
round.
is the conference championship.
Yeah. We're talking about the Lions too. Did you see the report about Jameson Williams? What? That he's far above schedule than what he was last season?
That came from Dan Campbell.
Yeah, but isn't he can't play for the first 6 years.
He's head coach.
I mean, that's expected with all due respect. Like, he's coming off an injury, he's a rookie,
And it's coming from his head coach. Like, I understand if it's from like a reporter, like, yo, I'm watching these practices.
Is Dan Campbell like a Pete Carroll type of guy? Nah, Dan Campbell will keep it a buck.
It's a shame he's not.
I don't know. I think Dan Campbell will definitely. Maybe.
Man, it's such bullshit that they did that to him.
Yeah. They said there might be a fifth player that gets suspended from the gambling shit too.
Sheesh.